Hi, I'm going to be reading chapter 3 of Who is Pelé? And I'm going to do my best to read the foreign words and cities and names to the best that I can. And I'm always here with my buddy Dottie. Chapter 3, Young Star. Waldemar de Brito continued to teach Pelé and other young players about the game they loved. But in early 1955, de Brito got an offer to move to the city of Santos in the state of Sao Paulo to work for another club. De Brito sat down with Dondinho and Celeste and told them that he thought Pelé should play for this new club. The new club, Santos Football Club, or Santos FC. Celeste was still worried about her baby. Dondinho trusted de Brito. However, Sao Paulo was not as big or as far away as Rio de Janeiro. It was only around 200 miles from Bauru. Pelé, of course, was thrilled. Together, the family decided that the teenage star should take the next step in his career. For the train ride to Sao Paulo, Celeste made Pelé his first pair of long pants. Dondinho traveled to Sao Paulo with Pelé. Waldemar de Brito met them at the train station. Together, the trio headed to the Santos Stadium, called Vila Belmiro. On the way, Pelé saw the tall skyscrapers of the city and marveled at the crowds of people. Once, a teacher had told Pelé that the ocean was salty. Now he had a chance to see for himself. He asked to stop at a Sao Paulo beach so he could taste the ocean to make sure. "You can imagine how grand it was for me," he wrote later. I'll show you those pictures. At the stadium, Pelé watched the team in action and then met the players, all older than he was. Many knew Dondinho from his long years as a player. One of them was Vasconcelos, the team star. "Put your mind at rest. He'll be safe with us," he told his old friend. Dondinho returned to Celeste knowing that his son was in good hands. Pelé was very nervous. He was given a small room in a dormitory for single players. It was the first time Pelé had lived apart from his family, and he was sad. He also worried about whether he could play with the older, bigger players on the Santos team. He couldn't even call his mother since the family did not have a telephone back in Bauru. "I was only 15 and suddenly I had to live with strange people in a strange place," he wrote later. "I was afraid of failing, but even more, I was afraid of the dark." After missing a penalty shot during a game, Pelé tried to sneak back home to Bauru. He was homesick. He had lost his confidence. He was also afraid he would never grow big enough to play with the larger players. As he tried to sneak out of the stadium unnoticed, the team assistant, Big Sabu, stopped him and convinced Pelé to give it one more shot. Sabu did not want Pelé to give up so easily. He told the teenager, "If you try running away again, I'll take that suitcase away from you." To get over his sadness, Pelé played harder than he ever had before. He practiced with the top Santos players and took part in some games with the junior team. The coaches told him that he had to gain weight and strength, so he ate more and more. The older players liked his energy, and on and off the field, it briefly earned him another nickname, Gasolina. They may have felt that Pelé's energy made the team run. The Santos coaches knew how special their young player was. In the summer of 1956, Pelé got his first chance to play in a practice game with the senior team. Santos won 6-1, and Pelé scored 4 goals. Soccer teams, country and club. Original World Club trophy. This is a little section in the chapter that explains some things. Around the world, pro soccer players can play for 2 different kinds of teams. Their main team is the professional club that pays them. An athlete can play for a club in any country. A player from Brazil, for example, can play for a pro league in Italy, Spain, Mexico, or somewhere else. There are dozens or hundreds of professional soccer clubs in some countries. The very best players can also take part in games with their country's national team. Each country has just one national team. Players are selected for this honor and then leave their pro clubs briefly to play for their national team. National teams take part in tournaments such as for the championship of a continent or in the World Cup, which is played every 4 years. They also play one another in friendlies, which are practice games that are not part of a tournament. So that was a little segment. Later that year, September 7th, a familiar date to Pelé, he scored his first goal for Santos in an official league game. Because Pelé's family still did not have a phone, it took a whole day for this big news to make it back to Peru. Pelé continued splitting time with the junior and senior teams. Then the Santos star forward Vasconcelos broke his leg. Pelé replaced him as a regular member of the senior team in early 1957. Not long after, Pelé played his first game in the famous Maraca. I'm going to show you the word. Where is it? Right there. Maracana Stadium in Rio de Janeiro, and scored a hat trick, a term that describes when a player scores 3 goals in a single game. Ooh, look at these guys. He was the youngest player at only 17 in the league and one of the top scorers. The little boy who kicked around a sock ball had become a superstar. By now, Pelé had signed a new contract with Santos that paid him more than ever. He sent most of the money home. Don Dinho used it to buy a small house so the family would have some more room. The family would no longer have to pay rent. Over the next 2 seasons, Pelé became a key part of the Santos team, playing around the state of São Paulo and traveling to other parts of Brazil. By 1958, all of Brazil was looking forward to the World Cup, the international championship of soccer. Fans read soccer updates in newspapers and listened to the games on the radio. Those who could afford tickets watched the club teams play live. It was the biggest story in the country, and millions awaited the news which players would be chosen for Brazil's national team. After a tryout camp, the coaches called all the players together. They read off a list of the players on the World Cup team. Pelé was one of them. That's the end of chapter 3.